Happy day, Saturday night. Oh, Saturday night. That's right. I'm just too cool. I'm just too cool. I should be a DJ at some nightclub in Berlin. But I've got the second best gig, which is sitting here in Cricbuzz Live. A close second, in fact, to the Berlin DJ gig. I'm Gaurav Kapur. With me, two people who I would probably find in a nightclub in Berlin, underground, basement, level 4, partying till 5 a.m. Michael Vaughan and Dinesh Karthik. Have you both ever been to a nightclub in Berlin? Just asking.
I've been to Berlin. I've been to see the wall.
Oh.
The Berlin Wall.
Okay.
But I haven't been to a nightclub 4 floors down. I've been to a nightclub on the first floor.
No, doesn't count. Not in Berlin.
Nah.
And there are some people who are saying, why go all the way to see walls? There's wall over here also. But I want to tell you, it's a very important wall, as important as the Great Wall of China. The Great Wall of China could not stop the war. But the wall in Berlin did stop people escaping the war till they broke it, and then there was no war anymore, cold or hot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's a good history lesson?
Sounded very, very true.
Why would I lie about history? Who do you think I am? The president of... Anyway, we're talking about more important things today. That is, it's not a warlike situation. That's not something that I want to mock, but it's a very important situation for both the teams that are playing over here. Very important, life or death for one of the teams, which is Pakistan. Qualification scenario. Let's talk about that. Let's look at the points table real quick so people will understand what's at stake for both these teams. It's Pakistan playing Sri Lanka, of course. This is the last game from this Super 8 group. 2 to be played, of course, tomorrow. But this group, everything will be done and dusted today. England has qualified thanks to their showing against... who did they play against last? New Zealand, sorry. That was New Zealand. So they won against New Zealand. They've qualified. And that leaves Pakistan and Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's already been eliminated. A lot has happened on that little island. But for Pakistan, DK, tell us what's at stake today.
So ideally, they need to win and win comfortably.
So just a win won't do it.
No.
Yeah.
You need to do both your skill sets very well. Like if you're batting yesterday, they put up a nice little graphic. If they get 160, they need to win by 64 runs.
So let's just tell you what's happened. Sri Lanka has won the toss.
Okay.
And they're going to bowl. So which means that Pakistan's going to be batting first. So let's look purely at batting first scenarios.
Correct. So there we go. 103 to 150, 63 runs or more, which is very hard. 151 to 198 is 64 runs or more. That's ideally what's going to happen in this game if Pakistan bat well enough. 199 to 246, that's a luxury that Pakistan can definitely do with, but whether that will happen, it's hard because of the kind of pitches they're playing in.
True.
They're playing on some tough pitches. It's not easy to get to 200 on that pitch, let's be honest. Yesterday's New Zealand got off to an absolute flyer. And just when you thought, okay, they're going to get somewhere close to 180, they just managed 160. So that's how the pitches have been.
I think the second part, Michael, is the more likely scenario, as DK is saying. Somewhere between 150 and 200 is the sweet spot for them. If they can get to 170, 180, they'll back their bowlers to skittle Sri Lanka out for 110, 150.
Yeah, well, I think if they get to 190, 200, I think they've got a great chance. Yeah, Sri Lanka's batting is okay, hasn't quite fired, but I guess the way that Pakistan have been batting haven't looked like a team that can get to that number.
Yeah,
I just hope Fakhar Zaman gets moved up the order. He's the one that you think could strike an 80 quickly, where they're going to bat Babar Azam. But sometimes Pakistan, when they get to this situation where they know they have to get a big score, they've always had the talent, they've always had the power and the skill sets. It's just sometimes it doesn't come out, when the pressure's on. But now it's a free hit. They've got no other option but to go out there and try and strike it. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if Pakistan go and get 190, 200 because of that kind of team.
But here's the worrying thing there, right? And which all of you talk about, and DK, you've been an IPL captain, so you also talk about that the minute you go out thinking 200, the chances of getting out for 120 are very high, right? How does Pakistan, because you know that a win's not going to do it, so you're not going out to win, just saying let's go out and win and play our best cricket, that's not going to cut it today.
No.
So it's a very tricky situation for them, just in terms of approach to the game.
It is. It can be very hard, but if there's one thing that's been evident so far in Sri Lanka, whatever matches have happened, you need to get a bulk of your runs in the power play. Because as the ball gets older, it starts to turn more. You generally find runs not being scored at a premium in the back end of the game. You would get 5 over 60, 5 over 50. That's not happening. What happened yesterday for England, that's an anomaly. It's very hard to do what they did. 3 overs 43 is pretty hard to do, and they managed to do it. But in all things said and done, I feel definitely Pakistan need to go hard in the power play. We're looking at a 60-run power play for them to have any ambitions of getting close to the score, which Michael said, which is 200. Because post that, when the spinners do come on, already spinners will bowl in the power play, but the spinners will come on later as well. Only if you have that momentum can you look to get that big score.
But Michael, would Pakistan have, because Salman Agha at the toss said we would have preferred to chase. As a captain, tell me why he would think that.
Well, I think, chasing, they'd have had to get whatever Sri Lanka get in, 13
overs.
13 overs, yeah. Which, I think with the way that Shaheen Shah Afridi bowled in the last game, Tariq obviously has been world class. You probably bowl him a little bit earlier. You probably fancy bowling Sri Lanka out for 131 for, and then you've got 13 overs to chase it down. That'd be the way that I would have gone about this kind of scenario that Pakistan have found themselves. Now they're in a scenario where they've just got to go out and score. And you're right in saying that you don't get 200 by, smacking it in the first 4 or 5 overs. Yeah. You've got to play a full 20 overs, and you've got to play smart, win the power play, try and get to 60, as DK said. But from around 7 to 14, you can't just keep going for all your shots on these kind of wickets. You've got to have someone that's willing to bat 15, 16 overs for you. And you've got to have an individual. Harry Brook got 100 for England. The rest of them, I think there was 64 for 8. Yeah. That was only a 160 odd score. So this venue at Pallekele over the course of the World Cup, the England series prior to the World Cup, there hasn't been a big score.
True.
So of all the venues where you want a big score to try and put Sri Lanka under pressure and to obviously nullify them within 60 odd runs of what you've got, this is probably the venue that you wouldn't choose. Yeah. It's not going to be easy for Pakistan, True. But at least they know where they're at. They've got to get a big score, and then when the ball in hand, the captain's going to have to be very aggressive with his field settings.
Yeah,
what you're actually looking for is Pakistan liberated with their batting, saying, we're not looking at 140, 150. We need to get a big score for us to stand any chance. Yeah. So that means don't think twice. If you ever want to doubt yourself, take the hard route and play a big shot. Back yourself to do it.
I just want to answer one question that Michael had asked. He said, very important question in terms of the Pakistan batting order. Where would Babar Azam bat? The answer is in the nets, because he's not going to be batting in this game.
He's been... that's interesting. So
what are you going to say? Rested?
No, he's been dropped. Let's be honest. He's been dropped. What did he get against England? 24 off 25.
So he's out. Sam Ayub is out. And Salman Mirza is out.
But Fakhar looks like he's going to go to the top, which is the right decision.
Yeah, which is a good decision. So he basically takes Sam Ayub's place at the top. Fakhar Zaman does. We'll just put that 11 game because there's so many changes and they are batting first. So let's look at that. There's Khwaja Nafe
instead of Babar Azam. Naseem Shah instead of Usman Tariq, and Abrar Ahmed instead of Saeem Ayub. So they've gone a batter less.
No, Usman Tariq is there.
I'm sorry, not Usman Tariq, Saeem Ayub.
In place of Saeem Ayub, yes.
Yes, Saeem Ayub, Abrar Ahmed comes in. So my point being, they have gone a batter less, but they're backing their specialist bowlers to do the job and their specialist batters to get the job done.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because we're talking about liberating Fakhar Zaman. So he bats at the top. He bats with Saib Zada Farhan. So the best chance that Pakistan has of actually optimizing this power play is these two guys, because Farhan again has been in spectacular form. What is he, like number 3 in the world, right now?
Oh, he's a good player. I mean, he'll play the 50 over format, and in time I'm sure he'll get his test kind of cap as well. But it intrigues me that Babar's not playing in this game. It almost looks to me like Mike Hessen's got now what he wanted potentially earlier in the tournament. I get a sense. I'm just looking into a crystal ball. I get a sense.
He's reading between the lines there of Pakistan cricket, which is a hard job to do.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Because they keep changing the lines.
Yeah, I've tried it for 30 years and I've got it wrong many times, but I just get a sense that maybe Babar wasn't in the first choice team, but he's had to play and he's not played well enough. And now this more aggressive batting lineup, which is what T20 cricket's all about. I'll be very intrigued to see how they go. If they go and smack 215, 220 today with that batting lineup.
I think irrespective, I think Babar has perhaps played his last T20 game for Pakistan.
No?
I'm
very sure they'll pick him again and they'll give him an opportunity.
Okay.
You got to remember, GK, in Pakistan cricket, there's a lot of change on a regular basis.
That's true.
And at the minute, the people in charge have decided that Babar is not playing
this game.
But people will change. Those people will change.
In a week's time, there's probably going to be someone else in charge, and Babar will come back.
Yeah.
It's just Pakistan cricket.
They'll probably have a new captain as well, considering I think almost everyone in that team has captain. But anyway, listen, we'll come back. We'll come back to this game and we'll stay with this game. Pakistan would have preferred to chase because then it's a straight shootout. You know that winning will not cut it. You know that winning in 14 will cut it. So for you, it becomes not a T20 game, but a T14 game or a T13 game. And that's why they would have liked it, because then your target is very clear. Here, you get a variable on top of a variable. So that's why the confusion here. So which is why Sri Lanka very easily they've just come to spoil the party, right? And they would spoil the party. They want to win the game.
It makes, I mean, look, Sri Lanka, it's surprising that they've gone down the route of bowling first, because the 2 times that they have actually chased, they've been extremely poor.
Yeah.
They have done.
And Pakistan will like that.
That's the only hope for Pakistan,
Yeah.
that they put up a good score and they bundle out Sri Lanka and hopefully within the runs that they require it to be done for. The fact is that ideally Sri Lanka should be batting first. That is the truth. But I almost feel like they want to make the job tougher for Pakistan.
Okay, fair enough. So sometimes what you do is, instead of playing to your strengths, you play against the weakness of the others, right? But you should play. Well, actually, Sri Lanka is just.
You lads just played paddle. Is that how you'll operate?
That's how we operate. Yes.
But the thing is that, like Sri Lanka, surely wouldn't mind Pakistan getting through, because that means Pakistan play a semi-final in Sri Lanka.
So as spectators,
And if Pakistan win the semi-final in Sri Lanka, they'll play a final
all right.
in
I
Sri
don't think
Lanka.
they're thinking that far. They're just thinking, let me win one game, because there's a lot of turmoil in their cricket as well.
You've basically got turmoil versus turmoil.
Turmoil, which is great.
This is a great game of cricket.
Yeah.
Anything could happen.
Can I tell you though, you've got a good point, because the players could have a lot of friends and some who are spectators saying, listen, you're not making it, but let the semi-final happen in Sri Lanka. So, just phone it in. But the problem is that if they do phone it in, they're anyway under so much fire in Sri Lanka, is the Sri Lankan team, that even if the semi-final does happen in Sri Lanka, the team will not be watching it because they'll have to leave, right? Because they're under so much fire.
I think of all the teams in the world, I know in India you've got a lot of politics to deal with as well, but I think of all the teams in the world, these 2 teams have got a lot of politics to deal with. And it's not just cricket coaching and cricket captains. I think you're talking high up at government level, get involved with these teams.
I have no idea what Michael is talking about. DK, do you have any idea what he's talking about? I have no idea.
I wish I could say yes to that, but no, clearly.
No idea at all.
They're under a lot of pressure, these teams.
We have no
At this
idea.
point of time, GK and I are under a lot of pressure.
No pressure, because we have no idea what he's saying.
Correct.
Don't understand it. Sri Lanka team, let's have a look at them. They have to save face today. They have to win this game. They have to save face. Once again, there's musical chairs happening in their 1-2-3. They say that Kushal Mendes is injured and he's out, which will be a big loss for them because he's one of the leaders of the team as well. So Kamil Mishara now comes back in. And remember, he had sat out the last game because Charit Asalanka had come in. And before that, Charit Asalanka had come in because Kushal Pereira had sat out. A lot of Kushals here. So anyway, there's a lot of musical chairs happening there. So Nisanka, Mishara, Charit Asalanka, Pawan Ratnaike, I'd like to see some fireworks from him today. Kamindu Mendes, Dasun Chanaka, the captain. Then Janit Liange has come in. Dunit Veralage, my fave.
Yeah.
Then Madhushanka, Tikshana and Chamira. So no surprise there.
Good effort, actually. The fact that you're able to read all the names quite nicely there. And
Yeah,
then see it
good
quite
job.
well. I just thought that it's Lianage.
What did I say?
Lianage or something like that.
So
I'm just trying to be very cool here because
but that's good. I like it. Listen, you know me, I'm a student. I'm a student for life. One who never learns, but a student. Outstanding one. Standing outside the class, but a student. Show the 11 again. Let's see. Correct.
Janit. Liange, you said.
Yeah.
Lianage.
Lianage. Yeah, I should say Lianage actually. Why did I do that? But thanks for calling that out. Lianage.
Don't say I called you out. I'm just,
Sounds like an
you
Italian
made all
striker.
the other names sound very simple when they're actually pretty hard to pronounce.
Oh, okay.
in
That's
themselves.
nice. I like it. I like the compliment.
The one thing that you can guarantee in T20 cricket, if you have an inconsistency at the top of the order, so in, out, shake it all about, it creates a huge amount of doubt for the personnel.
Yeah.
Because you know that you only have a 1 score or 1 poor performance out the side. T20 cricket is the one format, I think, consistency in selection, particularly at the top of the order where you're going, go and win the power play. If you're not consistent with those players, it creates a lot of doubt in the team.
You're absolutely right. I mean, look at the team. South Africa is doing so well, right? South Africa's 1-2-3 is absolutely solid. India's 1-2-3, of course, we know solid, and there's been obviously a little
Form-based.
up and down here and there, but otherwise it's been pretty solid as well. Absolutely right. There's so much musical chairs happening in their 1-2-3.
1-2-3, captaincy, bowling attack.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of musical chairs all through their squad. Up until 2 months ago, it was Charit Asalanka who was the captain.
Yeah. If you look on that list, there's a lot of captains there. Like there's no Dhananjay De Silva who's captain. He's gone.
He was part of the team.
Kushan Mendes was captain as well.
Pawan Ratnayake came on the scene just in that England bilateral, did so well that they thrust him into this side. So there's been a lot of back and forth. And batting order, Kamil Mishra, he was batting, they rated him very highly, then he didn't get going. Suddenly Charit Asalanka comes straight to 3, Kusal Mendes is opening. Charit Asalanka has always batted at 4 and 5.
Yeah.
But because that they didn't want to expose Pawan Ratnayake up, they did that change. So there's been a lot of unrest and dysfunction in how they've gone about it. Some forced, for example, Hasaranga, we got injured and his injuries have been so consistent that has been another problem.
The most consistent thing about him has been the injuries. Isn't it?
And then they replaced him with Dushan Hemanta. And have a look. Yeah, here we go.
I mean, it's happening on the clock pretty much every 6 months, right?
Yeah.
And this is just us counting the last 3 years. And look at what all he misses out, right? I mean, you remember he missed out the Asia Cup, then he's missed out a final ODI of a bilateral, the World Cup. This one will perhaps hurt the most. He missed the ODI World Cup as well. But this one will perhaps hurt the most because you're playing your games at home.
Well, you look at from September 23, he's basically had a poor hamstring.
Yeah.
And that for me tells me he's either very unlucky. And the problem I have with teams like Sri Lanka is I just don't think they have. And I said last night about England, Australia, India. You look at the backroom teams that these teams have and the amount of equipment to get players back fit, whether it's a cryo chamber, whether it's ice. I'm just not sure whether Sri Lanka have that same tool and those same kind of
good point.
Backroom teams, physios, masseuses, the professional side that high-level sports, international sports teams need. So he's either very, very unlucky or they just don't have the right kind of team behind them to make sure that the players are doing the right thing in terms of the rehab, going through the gym programs to then play a game of cricket. Are you right? Okay, let's just breathe you back into the team. To have the same injury pretty much all the way back to September 23 and it's still happening now. Well, I'm not too sure that's great management.
He's a great case in point of current day's cricket. Why I say that is, he's had constant hamstring injuries. Hamstring injuries are one of the toughest ones to deal with because it happens when you run at high speed. It can happen when you land. It can happen almost any time. So with Hasaranga, the question is like what Michael said, is it unlucky or he has not been professional enough to train well? Is the backroom staff forcing him back into cricket quite quickly without giving him time to recover? Or is he choosing to play other leagues outside in between times when he's not representing the country that he is overtraining and over pushing himself? Because if it is recurring to such an extent, they need to have a look and say, boss, either you decide which one you want to do. If you want to play for Sri Lanka, we need a certain way in which you come back. But every time probably he's almost getting ready at 80%, 90%, he's going and playing a franchise cricket tournament somewhere, and that's probably not helping the cause as well. So that's a big decision. And interestingly, Shanaka, the captain, has said the one main thing that we need to look at is fitness. And there we go.
He's upset. He says we have to make it a non-negotiable. Hasaranga is a key player for us. We also know how important Pathirana is because he's not there. Ishan Malinga was injured as well. There are some players who can't even get into the team because of fitness issues. That one last line. Has it come from anger? Has it come from frustration? Has it come from being under fire? All of them.
Speaking about GK, and I feel that he's talking fitness issues, it has to be Nuwan Tushara, who's part of the RCB team.
Yeah.
He's fit, but they've not picked him. So I'm assuming that they're either not happy with his fitness.
Yeah.
Because I don't see any other reason how he won't make it. Like in case they did pick the first squad with Ishan Malinga, he's a like-for-like replacement. They haven't gone for him.
Does it happen? Has it happened in your career where there was a player you really wanted, was really good, was perhaps fit, but you can just tell is not serious about their fitness and you know that just will leave you high and dry, one test in, 2 ODIs into a series?
Yeah, I mean, there are certain players that you get back into the side because you just know how important they are. And if they're at 80%, you're just going to take the risk. We need you on the cricket field. But fundamentally, I think the best sporting teams and cricket teams that I've seen operate with a non-negotiable at a certain level of fitness that you have to achieve. These players now have got, you would hope every tool to be able to be fit. And that's fit for the skill that they're delivering as a cricketer. And you look at the programs when I played, pretty much everyone's program was the same. Whether you're a batter, whether you're a bowler, a spin bowler, quick bowler, wicket keeper, we all had the same similar programs. You know, the programs now, and DK will tell you more about this, is every single player has a different program because, you know, my body's different to DK's, my skill set is different to DK's. So you have to train individually these days, but there's a lot that is you know, given to the player, but the player is also expected to deliver their own fitness levels as well. And I get a sense from that statement that potentially maybe some of the Sri Lankans aren't quite as professional as they would like. Now, the only way that you can put that right is by having a non-negotiable in terms of a level of fitness that you have to achieve. And if you don't achieve that level of fitness, you know what, you're not playing. Simple as that.
You know, I just spoke to you about hamstring injury. Sorry, I'm just going down on that topic a little bit. Hamstring injuries are one of the trickiest for a sportsman because the moment you get a hamstring injury, one thing you cannot do is run. So all you have to do is be on the bike. So there's only that amount of volume you can do on a bike. You have to eat very carefully because your tendency to put on weight is very high when you have a hamstring injury because there's literally no movement in your body. All you're doing is icing, resting, and at best cycling. So when you're not doing running, and when you're trying to do a rehab program based on that, you have to be disciplined to another level for you to come back because otherwise you put on weight like this. And you can imagine a Hasaranga. You know, he looks like a guy who, if he looks at a sweet, he could end up, you know, putting on a few kilos, forget eating it. So he has to be that much more, that takes a lot of discipline. It's not easy. And we're talking about 2-3 months of excessive diet and making sure you're on point because once you're getting back on the ground, you're expected to do high speed running. So you need to graduate there. So the amount of volume you need to do in running and make sure that you hit that level, you need to be cycling almost every day, twice a day at times, because that is low impact and doesn't impact your hamstring. So just as an example, so it's so important. It's not easy.
It's a great point, and especially when you're just sitting around doing nothing, because that's what happens during recovery. You just end up, you see, if you're not working a day or if you've got a chill day, you just kind of reach for the snacks, for the nodi cabinet.
Honestly, it always makes me chuckle a bit. Like professional sports people, they don't like doing fitness. I'm going, it's your job. You know, the reason why you're being a cricketer because you must like running, because you like running between the wickets, or you like running into bowl, or you're out in the outfield and you have to chase the ball. You must like that. So that is fitness. You've got to be able to run, you've got to be able to move, you've got to be strong. And with the rewards that are on offer these days, I reckon 30, 40 years ago, I could kind of understand it because the rewards weren't quite there. But the rewards for a professional cricket in this era are huge. Now, if you can't get up in the morning to go for a run or go to the gym or go in the pool or recover yourself because you know you're a little bit stiff from the day before in the field, if you can't do that, you're not in the right profession because the rewards are far too high to be lazy. And that's what it is. It's laziness that creates this kind of environment. And I have no idea why you're lazy in this era. I get it a few years ago, many years ago, because the coin wasn't there. There's no excuse for laziness in this era.
For 30, 40 years ago, reminds me of a story Graham Gooch once told me. I was at the academy, there were some kids warming up, and they were intense warm-ups. And I told Gucci, I said, it's a little different from your time, right? These warm-ups. He says, yeah, in our time, warm-up was stretch and a yawn, tea and a biscuit.
Well, Graham Gooch was one of in the 80s, early 90s, he was one of the first ever to actually start running. You know, going in, and there's famous stories in the Caribbean where Graham Gooch should be going for a morning run and the rest of the team were just coming in from being in Harbour Lights in Barbados and Gooch is out for a run. But, you know, look, cricket is a running sport. It is a running game. That's what you have to do.
Yeah, we hear that about Kapil Dev as well. Well, I'll tell you, there might be an all-night party with one team tonight, not Pakistan and Sri Lanka. I'm moving away from them for just a second, and I'm moving to the Jammu and Kashmir team, which has picked up the Ranji Trophy today after, 6.5 decades? Right? 6.5 decades, and this is what they've done. Batting first, 584, mammoth. And Karnataka, with all their test veterans there, right? Proper test experience. Their bowlers managed to get them after 293 with Aqib Nabi, who's, you know, suddenly shot into prominence. Everyone's talking about him, and rightfully so, about time. Picked up 5 wickets there. And then Jammu and Kashmir batted again and got to 342. Ranji Trophy of 25-26 has been won by Jammu and Kashmir. Big round of applause to them. Good job. And DK, I have to tell you, by the way, DK every day, and he does this, right? And he'll say it and do it. We'll be watching the game, the World Cup game, and go, okay, I have to check what happened in the Ranji. Let me check what's happening in the Ranji if it's a day game, right, that we're watching. I like how you announce it and do it. It's great. But you've really been tracking this team, haven't you?
Absolutely. I've been tracking Ranji Trophy, but this team, historic, GK. So this is a state which is obviously shot into prominence the last few years. They didn't have too many cricket grounds, and we know all the unrest that happens in the state. For them to come and reach the levels that they have reached, which is to win a Ranji Trophy, and they've done it so convincingly. First game against Mumbai, they lost. The second game, they lost lead. So after 2 games, they were 1 point. From there on, literally having dominated, they won next 8 games. They won 5 outrights, and they've got 2 leads. They did lose 1 lead in between. They dropped a game, but they didn't lose a game. They just dropped lead. And for them to have achieved what they've achieved, because they went to solid teams, like went to Delhi, beat Delhi convincingly, went to MP in the quarterfinals, beat them at home there. And the next game was a great game against Bengal. After having given a lead of close to 80 runs, they lost lead. And on a flat pitch, they found a way to get that Bengal team all out, and they chased it down. So what they have done is earth-shattering, phenomenal, great for Jammu and Kashmir cricket in general. And hats off to a lot of people who behind the scenes have put in the work. I've heard Mithun Manas, the current president, had a big role to play in them getting to where they are. Irfan Pathan has played a part. And they're all saying that when Jay Shah came in a few years ago, he came and saw the facilities and helped them in whatever way. But the fact is that all the efforts that they've put in over the years have actually come out today in terms of a result. And quite phenomenal. Karnataka played a full strength side. The team that played the semi-finals in Jammu Kashmir, just 1 day prior to the game, a crucial player for them called Shubham Kajuria, he was injured. So a guy would have been in Jammu Kashmir, was called up. His name is Kamran Akbal. So he came in morning, half an hour before the toss. And he was the opener. Didn't get too many runs in the first innings, but ended up getting a 160 in the second innings. So some great stories there. Obviously, the toast of the town right now is Aqib Nabidar, who has had a record that most fast bowlers would be, for lack of a better word, literally jealous, because 104 wickets across 2 seasons in Ranji Trophy is crazy good. Is unheard of. 13 and 12 as an average. 13 fifers across 2 seasons. These are not records that you can do easily as a pacer. Spinner still you can expect, knowing India, how it is. Across different soils, like he's done it on red soil, black soil, some dead pitches like the semi-final. So I have a lot of time for the Jammu Kashmir team, because I'm part of a team called Tamil Nadu, and we haven't won it in a long time, and we are trying. We know how hard it is. These guys have achieved something extremely special.
I mean, you won a trophy last year after that team tried for a long time. So yeah,
you know how hard it is. Yes.
It feels really good, I'm sure. But Aqib Nabi, just staying on him for just a second. You see him, India colours around consideration. What do you see?
I can't think of how you could stop him. 104 wickets for a pacer, whether he's bowling 125, 128, whatever, but he's got extreme skill set. He can swing the ball both ways. He has his action where he releases the ball in, but gets the ball moving away. I don't want to compare him, but a bit reminiscent, a little bit of what a James Anderson used to do, where he used to release the ball in and get the ball swinging out late, which is how, because the kind of wickets that he's got against good batters, the likes of KL Rahul, Karun Nair, Devdutt, whoever you want to name, have been good balls. It's been nicked off or bowled, beaten and bowled. It hasn't been caught at deep extra cover or pulling and getting caught at finally. He's got proper wickets. Rajat Patidar nicking away to second slip. So he is single-handedly actually helped Jammu Kashmir achieve what they've achieved.
Yeah.
Purely.
And it's historic what they've done. Absolutely historic. Winning it after, 65, 66
I like the fact that your longer format has a final. The Sheffield Shield final in Australia is a big final for the longer format, and obviously the Ranji Trophy. We don't have that in the UK. That's the one thing I'd love to bring to our county system. I like our county system, particularly the 2 leagues. I like promotion relegation. I think it delivers
jeopardy, isn't it?
Delivers a consequence, which for me is what high level sport's all about. But I'd love us to create a system like the Ranji Trophy or the Sheffield Shield, where the top 2 teams have to play in a one-off final.
Yeah,
I think it's great for the longer format of the game.
And he's so right about toiling, and it's hard labor bowling quick in some of these domestic pitches, right? I mean, these are no Perth from the late 90s.
I'm going to check to see if he's got an English passport.
Take him with you.
We'll have him.
Yeah.
I can tell you, in English conditions, he'd be menacing.
We need a tone setter with the new ball. He's more than happy to come.
As soon as DK said James Anderson, right? Michael was like, hang on just a second.
Hello.
I mean, I'll tell you, guaranteed, he does not have a UK passport. That's a guarantee.
We can make
You mean
him
a
what?
visa, right?
Yeah, but
Just a visa?
We can make him a visa or a passport. That's what we've done it for many years. When we want a player, we just go, there you go.
There you go. Get him. I mean, half of South Africa's in England right now, so there you go. That could be possible. Well, for both these teams, if they don't win today, right, Sri Lanka win to just get some pride and some happiness for their fans and just to answer back to all the fire that they've been facing in the last few days. And for Pakistan, they got to win to qualify. If they don't qualify, they don't make the semi-finals. So I think both these players would perhaps not want to go back home immediately, right? So there's a lot more at stake over here for both these teams. Just tell you what's happening. Pakistan has been put into bat by Sri Lanka, and the scenario for them is pretty clear. If they score between 100 and 150, no matter what they score, basically they have to win by about 60 odd runs, right? Let's just tell you, it's basically that. Anything from 100 to 250, they have to win by these many runs, and that guarantees them the boost in the net run rate, which will help them qualify ahead of New Zealand. Otherwise, even if they win and the margin is smaller, New Zealand still qualifies. England has already qualified. Sri Lanka is already out. So out of the group, the Super 8 group that these four teams are in, Sri Lanka's out, England's in, and it's New Zealand and Pakistan who are basically battling for that spot. All New Zealand can do, they can't battle. They just sit in front of the television and egg Sri Lanka on. That's all that they can do today if they want to play the semi-final. Score guesses, gentlemen, on this pitch. Oh, Lord. I don't know how to even approach this today.
152.
No,
Good call.
that means done.
Yeah.
No, he thinks Sri Lanka will get out for 80. I am saying 164.
172.
Ooh, we just keep going up. We just keep going up. We just keep going up. Nice one. All right. In case you think we've gone too up and you want to feel a little down, the joy factor question comes in to basically break your self-esteem into small little bits. What connects Gwalior, Eastern Punjab, Western India, Sindh, Patiala, Pepsu?
I've never heard of that.
Pepsu
What connects them?
and Southern Punjab. I'm telling you this.
A train track.
Uh-huh.
A train track.
A train track connects them. It's a good one. A bus service.
Yeah.
A very slow bus service.
Uber.
It has something to do with Ranji Trophy. I can just
Yeah,
tell you
it
that.
will have, yeah.
100%.
It will have, yeah.
Domestic cricket, something. What do you say? Punjab and Eastern Patiala States Union. PEPSU. Eastern Punjab States.
Punjab and East.
Patiala and Eastern Punjab States Union. PEPSU.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Punjab and Eastern Patiala and Eastern Punjab, India is Pepsi. This is just our way of telling you that we don't take this question seriously, because if we did, we would end up feeling pretty rubbish about ourselves. But you take this very seriously, and that's why we want your answers to come in. Hashtag Cricbuzz Live, hashtag Joy Factor. Send in your answers. The first correct answer gets a grand prize of... So congratulations, all the best to you. If you can get that, then it's yours. Big thank you to Michael Vaughan and Dinesh Karthik. I'm Gaurav Kapur. Remember, you can join us at the end of 10 overs on Cricbuzz Combox. We'll give you a little update of how Pakistan is going with their batting. They are batting first. This is the all-important game. Thank you for watching Cricbuzz Live.